Hey everybody, Keith Rogers here with Wizard Golf. Thanks for tuning in today. So we've had some requests, people asking me to put together a video that walks you through how I used my Swing Wizard to lower my handicap. So today we're going to cover that. For those of you that haven't purchased your Swing Wizard yet or have been exposed to it, this will be a great way for you to find out a little bit more about the Swing Wizard training tool and how it might benefit you as well. So thanks for tuning in. The first thing you're going to notice is it's portable. It comes in two pieces, so you simply screw it together, and if you hold it vertically like this, when you screw it together it'll be a lot easier for you. So you can see you can carry this in your bag. I've got tour level players, tour players, people of all various abilities that travel with theirs as well. So very portable, very light, very easy to use. So now that I've assembled it and I simply got it screwed together tightly, it goes together the same way every time, so you can't mess it up. It now becomes one long club. And the importance of that is when we're swinging our normal club, we only get to see what's happening in front of us half the time. And considering that the swing happens in 1.3 seconds for us on average, we don't get to see it for very long. But feel is a big part of understanding your golf swing. It's one thing that no instructor in the world can teach. So it's something we have to develop on our own because we're all built different. No two players swing a club exactly the same. No two players are built exactly the same. Therefore, we're all going to have a variation that suits the way our bodies are built, the way we move, turn, etc. So the aspect of the visual part is phenomenal, but more importantly, the feel aspect that this product provides is hands down unmatched. So let me take you through how I used it to lower my handicap and get me down into single digits. So you'll see I've got two aim sticks here on the ground. You're going to receive that with your product. You're also going to get a copy of the instructional DVD, which features Jim McLean, where he walks you through his 8-step process, and then some instruction from myself as well. But for video purposes, I think this will make a lot of sense to you, and I think you're going to gain a lot of understanding about what this product can do for you. So let's get started. So with the two aim sticks, I've got one here that represents my toe line, one that represents my ball or target line. And when you start using it initially, use both aim sticks because it's a great point of reference until you get an understanding of what your swing is. So I like to set up with my club face or the center of my club face directly over my target line. So as I take my normal setup, you're going to see that, and I'll turn this way so you get a little better view of that, is you're going to see this creates more of a hands forward press, which is a good thing for most golfers. People tend to set up with their hands too far back, plus you don't get a good sensation of the hands leading your club face at impact, which is critical for those solid, crisp shots that are going to maximize your distance and ball flight. So it's very important that when we get into impact, those hands are leading that club face coming through. So the Swing Wizard automatically is going to help introduce you to that feeling of having your hands forward. Personally, I don't set up that way with my hands that far forward, but the minute you take this club back or away, it's irrelevant at that point. So what I'm trying to do on my initial takeaway is I'm trying to get my hands and my club parallel to my toe line. From there, that's a pretty good position to be. If your club face is a little closed at that point, it's not a big deal. I like to keep mine pretty much square and toe pointing straight at the sky at that part of my golf swing. From there, once you move into a parallel position, all I have to do is make my shoulder rotation and my hip rotation and get that club to the top of my backswing. From there, it's just a tempo-based move right back down to impact. So I'm not swinging this club hard. It's not designed to hit golf balls with, and that's intentional. I didn't want the focus to be hitting golf balls. This is a training tool. It's not a normal golf club. Therefore, you can't hit golf balls with it. You can't take a full speed swing because of this other shaft will stop any progress. But knowing that most of the problems occur from takeaway and setup back through impact, if I can get that part of my swing right, then I'm golden. When we run into problems with our follow through is when everything back here is out of whack, and then we're fighting the club and gravity and the weight of the club, trying to get that club back on a plane to make contact with the ball. In most cases, that's going to produce an over-the-top move where you get jammed up coming through. We try to redirect the club, and then at that point, you end up with that eventual chicken wing where you're trying to pull that club back up. I'm sure it sounds familiar. A lot of us struggle with that. So, that being said, because of the weighting and balance of this club, I could virtually swing this with one hand and it's going to move into a plane based on the way my body's turning and moving. It's going to do the same thing for you. So as I take my normal setup, I'm just trying to keep my hands very light on the grip here. And I've got my hands set so it's right in the middle of the handle. So where it screws together, if I can keep one hand above the joint and one hand below it, then my hands are set perfectly on this club to give you the optimum amount of balance and weighting with it. So once again, as I take this club back and I move into the top of my backswing, with my grip pressure light, I can feel this club want to hinge and add some wrist hinge into my backswing. Too often I see where people keep that club stiff trying to go back, and they don't feel like they've taken the club back far enough, so then they try to over rotate. When you do that, you pull yourself out of position. It's a very unnatural position to be in. So if I can just keep my hands lightly on the club, it's going to hinge it automatically for me. And I'm going to get that club plenty far back. So I don't have to overextend or over rotate trying to get that club to where I feel like it's back far enough. So light grip pressure, add a little wrist hinge, and what I'm looking at initially here is I want to look at this angle. Like I said, we never get to see what's happening behind us here. So now I've got a mirror image or a representation in front of me of what's transpiring behind me. So I'm watching this angle here, and I'm paying attention to how my body feels when I'm in the positions that I move with this club. So for me, as I look down this club, it appears that it's coming right down on my target line or my ball line. It may or may not be, but from my viewpoint, it appears that it is. So it's not that critical. Yours may be a little more outside, may look a little more inside, but it's more for a point of reference rather than, trying to be precise and get that pointing, because your body's going to tell you where it wants to be. So this gives you a great visual aspect of being able to identify and see where that club and that shaft is pointing as you swing it. The other thing I'm paying attention to is I'm looking at the leading edge of this club face. So if I watch the leading edge of that club face in relationship to my target line, I can tell if I've got my club face open, closed, or square at the top without ever having to check myself. So as I take this club back, me personally, I like to have a square club face where that toe's pointing straight up at the halfway point and then straight back at my target when I get to the top. Some people, Dustin Johnson, prime example, he shuts that club face down as he comes back down through impact. His is shut before he even gets to the top of his backswing. But it's all personal preference. Like I said, no two players swing a club exactly the same. So play around, experiment, don't be afraid to try new things, because what you're trying to do is gain a sense of what it feels like and what's producing the best result for you. So once again, I'm going to take this club back. I'm going to watch where it comes down, where it intersects from my toe line to my target line, to make sure that I'm on a good inside to out swing path. And this club is doing all the work for me. I'm not having to force it to go there. It's moving in conjunction with the way my natural body motion wants to move. Some of us aren't as flexible as others. So it's going to be different for everybody. But just pay attention. People ask, what do I have to do? And my answer is always the same. Pay attention. You're doing this in a slow motion, rehearsed movement. It's a proven fact that our bodies will actually learn a motion 300 times faster by doing it in slow motion. That's why you see a lot of martial artists, dancers, figure skaters, they practice or rehearse in slow motion before they go live. And there's a very specific reason why they do that. So same thing with the golf swing. If we can practice it and train our body on what we should be feeling, it's a lot easier to reproduce that and gain consistency in your swing. So take your time with it. Like I said, you don't hit golf balls. You're not trying to swing this hard or fast like a normal golf club. It's set up for a standard length 7-iron, and I chose that specifically because that's the middle of the road club in our bag. So from there, the transition is very easy. It transfers over automatically to any club in your bag after you get through using this. In fact, that's a great drill. Out at this year's PGA show, out at Demo Days, we demoed the product obviously there, but blew people away. Had them take the 24 swing challenge. You swing this 24 times, grab your normal club, and tell me if you feel a difference. The amount of time that it takes to start seeing real progress with using the Swing Wizard is phenomenal. Most people have to try it before they believe it, but once they do, you can't refute what this product does. In just 24 swings, slow motion swings, it sets the tone for your body. So when you grab your own club, it feels like you're swinging a feather. And part of that is because now you've established where your body wants to position the club. So once everything's moving on the proper plane, based on the way we each move, it's a game changer. So the other thing this product is not going to allow me to do is release my club too early. If I try to release the energy in this club prematurely, this other shaft is going to stop any forward progress or momentum. And I'll turn a little so you can see that better. But as I start my downswing, if I don't hold that wrist hinge and angle coming in with the hands leading, and I try to release that energy too soon, you can see how this other shaft comes up against my side and stops any forward progress. So really what I'm trying to do when I come down into impact, I'm trying to keep those hands leading the club face and get to parallel again on the other side. If I can get to this position here without this touching my side, I'm golden. Then I've done everything right. I've kept my hands leading that club face coming through, and I haven't tried to release that club too early. So one more time, take the club back, get it parallel to your toe line. From there, get it to the top of your backswing, start your club down, and get to parallel. It's pretty easy, it's pretty simple, but it does so much. The other thing that this does by slowing everything down is you'll notice when I swing it, I'm very balanced. And one thing that every tour player has in common is they're impeccable at impact, and every one of them is extremely balanced. You'll never see a tour player unless he's on a weird lie or an uneven lie where his stance has to be altered. You'll never see those guys falling back on their heels or their toes or backwards onto their trail foot. Never happens. They swing very within themselves and very contained. So this is going to help with your balance, your tempo, your timing, your swing plane, your swing path, your club face position, and start eliminating that early release if you're somebody who has a tendency to release the energy before you get to the ball. So one more time, I'll walk you through it. And all I'm doing as I swing this is I'm trying to let my body feel and capture the sensation. So when I pick up my other club, and I would encourage you to do this yourself, as soon as you're done swinging your Swing Wizard, grab your 7-iron and take a few practice swings. You're going to feel the change in your swing immediately. I guarantee it. So if you have any questions, keep the requests coming for more videos. If you want something specific, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to throw up another video addressing whatever issue you might have or concern. So thanks again for watching, and come check us out at wizardgolf.net.